Okay, it's Master Cleveland again. Today we're going over the concept of balance and postures. Postures basically meaning stances. One of the biggest things about any stance is how the weight is distributed. There's a concept I was taught which was called the four influences. It's almost like the gears in a car. So basically what we're starting off with is a natural posture, which is, to most martial arts, which is the ready stance. The knees are slightly bent, the back is straight, hands are clenched in front of you. This doesn't seem so natural except when you release the hands and you open the hands and let the legs just go natural. It becomes what is your everyday stance. But as far as the influences go, what we call the first influence is when we go into a walking stance. Basically just under shoulder width apart, the front knee is bent slightly, the back leg is straight. Let's say about 51% to 99% of your weight is on the front leg. This is conducive to forward movements. You see this in most of your forms, and when sparring, of course, you're going to go into one of the many postures. A walking stance is, like the name implies, you're walking. You go a little bit further in what we call the forward stance, where basically 60 to 70% of the weight is on the front foot. Again, it's very important that the back is straight. You're not crouching. Your front knee is bent. Again, this is forward movement. Second influence is going back to that natural posture where the feet are side by side. About 50% of the weight is distributed evenly over both legs. Going down a little bit, you go into what is called the horseback stance or horse riding stance. Again, 50% of the weight is distributed right and left. This isn't what you call moving posture, but you do a lot of your exercises. Blocking drills. Punching drills. Basically an exercise stance. Bring your feet in and slide one foot back. You go into what is called the back stance. 60 to 70% of your weight is on the back leg. And again, this is conducive to moving back. Most of your weight should be back here on the back leg. Bring it up a bit. You go into what is called the cat stance. About 80% of the weight is on that back leg, about 20 or so is on the front. This is basically a light stance, and this is what gives way to a lot of your fighting stances. The weight is distributed in such a way where you can move back quickly. The fourth influence is one that's basically transitional. You got one leg, which is completely off the ground, and one leg that's supported all the way. The crane stance, which you see Karate Kid. It's a transition. You're never going to stay here for long. And the funny thing about these stances is when you walk, you pass through all four of the influences, as demonstrated here. You start off in second, you go in the first, third, because you're shifting, fourth, your foot leaves the ground. So you're transitioning through all these influences. Why are these important? Well, when you're walking, it's important. When you're sparring competitively or actually in a confrontation, you are in one of these different postures. Where the balance comes in is, again, the balance is where the leg that is bearing the weight is. If you're going into what we call the second influence before, where it's 50-50, the balance is distributed evenly. Another quick concept we'll go over is the feet themselves. The toes can't see it through the shoes, but they grip the ground. That's their only job. There's the ball of the foot, which